Ahoy, mateys, and welcome to another episode of Shore Leave, where these two sailors are taking a chance to kick back, absorb the local color, and talk about some anime and some Japan-related topics. I'm your host, Kaliban.
I'm your co-host, Mikan.
And we're here to slake up your thirst for more Japan-related topics.
What?
I will never run out of words that rhyme with make. I never will.
I have no idea what that says.
What? This is our running bit.
Yeah, I know. But
To slake? I'm thirsty.
Oh.
I've slaked this thirst.
Oh, I never heard
Just that little sip. Slaked it completely.
Okay.
Slaked it through the heart. Welcome to the people watching on Twitch and on YouTube. Thanks for joining us for this ongoing experiment. We are streaming our live Shore Leave episodes, and we'll be watching the chat throughout the show. So sound off. If you haven't yet, why not take this chance to subscribe to us here on Twitch? Hit the heart icon, hit the bell icon, so that you get notified when we are live and broadcasting. Yeah, it's under us here somewhere, down there.
Somewhere.
Not under her, under me, probably. Same thing goes for YouTube. Please give us a sub on YouTube. And if you haven't yet, it really does help with our engagement. And when you get a chance, check out our About page here on Twitch or our channel page on YouTube, because we've got donation links too. If you want to send us a tip on Twitch or a super chat on YouTube, that would be so amazing. Thank you very much. And you know what's so amazing?
What is so amazing?
Farming games.
Yeah.
You are a brand new convert to farming games,
Wow.
and really the piece de la resistance of farming games, Stardew Valley.
I've been playing a lot of Stardew Valley. The fishing part is still I really don't get it. I get it, but it took me a really long time to get it, and I have not been successful on my own.
Yeah.
As of yet. I feel like it's really tricky. I don't know.
I heard you the other day because you were fishing near a bridge, and then townspeople were walking by, and you're like, "Oh, this is, I'm just fishing here."
Yeah, it was really embarrassing, and there were a bunch of other people who had come by before and also see me failing to fish. Seriously, there were at least 4 people who walked by.
Have you ever tried to? Because apparently the secret, I've played it a little bit, but I haven't really played it a lot. And apparently the secret to the game is that it's secretly horny. Apparently you can hook up with anybody in town. That's one of the things that you are trying to do in the game.
I had no idea.
I mean, you don't have to, but
wow,
everybody is romanceable.
I did not know that.
Except the child.
Well, sure. I haven't had anybody try to romance me yet. Every time I run...
I don't think they're going to come out. You have to go after them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Every time I run into Pierre, he's like, "Oh,
Pierre.
how's the farming going?"
Oh, Pierre.
I hope...
Oh.
He's the first guy who meets you, right? He's the older guy, and he's like, I really hope that your farm's doing okay. I really hate to see, it dry out. And you're like, dude, I'm watering my plants every day. What are you talking about? So
you think that he was shading you?
Yes.
Kind of subtly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not doing enough. I do have to say, when you start out the game, they give you some seeds, but it's gosh, now I can't remember what it is for now, the very first thing. It's not potatoes. You get those later.
Right.
I forget what it is. Maybe peas. No, it's not peas. I can't remember. But whatever it is, you get 8 seeds, so you get to grow 8 plants.
Sure.
Then you go to the store in town, and I'm not talking about JoJo Mart, okay, but actual general store.
Right.
And you're like, "Oh, potatoes. I would love to grow potatoes." So you go buy potatoes for 200, gold coins or whatever.
Right.
You get home, 1 potato seed. It's why?
Mm-hmm. Well, look, they're selling you something that makes more of itself, right?
I guess.
So you can plant more potatoes, or I think you get potato seeds, which doesn't make any sense.
You get potato seeds.
Yeah, well, whatever. So, yeah. That's, hey, look, this is the life of a farmer, and that's your life now. So
I guess so. I just wasn't expecting it to be. And there's a wizard in town who I have met once.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, from what you have told me, there is a lot of stuff that you have not experienced yet. So
yes.
Hopefully that'll be coming up soon for you.
Yeah, hopefully.
Give me your responses. Speaking of responses, we have some responses from our Spotify listeners.
Okay.
Every episode, we have a Spotify page that connected to our episode where you can go. There's a Q&A, and you can tell us what you thought about the episode. Mm-hmm. And we tend to like to share those on the air.
Yes.
For our 2 episodes ago, episode 151, True Power Explodes, Ami's Melody of the Heart, we got a comment from listener Bryant. Bryant said, the animation in the episode is just wonderful.
I do think that the animation is great.
And there's a lot going on in that episode. Mm-hmm. We're inside computers and cyberspace.
Yes, that was kind of cool.
We've got charcoal drawings that are turning into like real life vistas. And
that's
so
true.
A much bigger challenge than the typical 10-band bookstores over here.
Yeah, right.
Fruit Parlor Crown is over there.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of good work on that. So thanks for that comment. And from our last episode, episode 152, Flames of Passion, Mars's Raging Super Attack.
Yes.
We had a comment from listener Black Star Raven, who I believe was on our Discord as well,
yes,
talking about his experiences.
So.
They say, I always spent summers in Japan with my paternal grandfather, who was himself a Shinto priest. He's watched Sailor Moon, mostly because of me, and his stance on Ray's grandfather, terrible, but funny.
Yeah, I would concur with that. Like, he is terrible, but it is kind of funny.
Look, Grandpa's Grandpa, okay? Grandpa's an interesting guy.
Yeah, I don't like the trope of the old lech in anime.
It's not going anywhere.
I know.
I know. It's with us for good.
There's one in Ranma 1/2 too, and I really don't like him. But yes.
What about anime that came out in 2023? Do you think that we're still seeing that?
That's a good question. I don't know. I guess a little spoiler. Grandpa and Crystal, totally fine. Not a lech.
That is a spoiler.
Yeah. Well.
All right. Well, then that answers my question.
Yeah.
It is it's a trope that we're moving beyond. Let's say.
Yes.
Well, maybe that's for the best.
I think it is.
Thanks for your
best.
comment, Black Star. And remember, listeners, if you want to let us know what you thought of our latest episode, head over to Spotify and answer our Q&A for the episode, and we'll read your response on the air. Mm-hmm. Say, did you hear the news?
What?
Oh, the news. The Sailor Moon Cosmos films are coming to Blu-ray and DVD in Japan on December 20th.
Yes, I had heard that, actually.
They were released on regular and limited edition DVD and Blu-rays. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, of course, they're just in Japanese, no English subtitles.
Right.
So good luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
And they will play on your... If you've got a Blu-ray, I think they're international.
Yes.
If you have a DVD player, they might not play on your American DVD.
Don't think
if you
they
are
will.
in America, that's region 1.
Yeah, I don't think they will. Yeah.
So the single disc DVD and the Blu-ray, which cost the same amount of money, which is like, okay. They're both $69 US.
Okay.
There's a 4-disc set, which is $110 US, and it comes with another disc with special features, like a music video, and I think CDs with music from the films as well.
Okay. Well, it's 2 separate films, so I'm wondering if they each have their own Blu-ray or if they are separate.
It's a Blu-ray.
Blu-rays.
I'm sure you can put them both on one.
I suppose you could. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. A box set. 1 disc. What happened to the old days when you get the box? It's a thing. It's like 14 Evangelion DVDs, and you can only fit 2 episodes on a DVD.
Right. That's how it was when I was watching Ranma 1/2. There was like only 2 per disc or something like that, or maybe 4.
I have a Twilight Zone DVD box set, but it's not DVD, it's Blu-ray.
Right.
And it is like it's in the teens, the number of discs. I think just because there's just so many, there's like 200 something episodes, and there's more features and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In glorious 360 black and white 4x3 TV remastered.
Yeah. Well, it's remastered though, so that's good.
You can see the sweat on William Shatner's brow when he's like, gripping the handle of that airline seat.
Right. Look at the plane. Look what's on the wing.
So who knows? Maybe we'll have that in the future. Maybe we'll be talking about those in the future.
Yeah, the other
No
films
promises.
were on Netflix, so hopefully they will be released on Netflix sometime soon.
I don't believe in Netflix.
Yeah, well.
It's not real to me.
Okay. Well, it has Olive Crystal right now, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's get started, huh?
Yeah, let's
Mika
do
and
it.
I are going to talk about what's on our mind for this shore leave. And Mika, why don't you take it away?
Sure. So I'm going to talk about the rise and fall of the Ninja Bear.
Ninja Bear. So
Yes.
that's, right, this guy?
This...
Is that what we're talking about?
No, not quite. That's really adorable.
It's got scales.
That's actually a black bear, and Ninja Bear is an Usuri brown bear.
Ah.
So, but they do have those kinds of bears in Japan. So
Okay.
maybe he is another Ninja Bear, and he's just doing tricks.
He's training to be his successor.
Yeah, he's just doing tricks. He's a cool Ninja Bear. This Ninja Bear that I'm going to talk about, we don't know about him so much.
Okay.
For the last 4 years, dairy farmers in the eastern part of Hokkaido Prefecture have dealt with the cow attacks from an Usuri brown bear that wildlife authorities call Oso 18.
Okay.
Oso 18 has also become known as another name, Ninja Bear. So I think I have my first image. So this is just a bear crossing sign, but you see that a lot. There are a lot of bears in Hokkaido. I think they estimate to be about 12,000 bears in Hokkaido. It's a lot. The name Oso 18 comes from its front paw prints being 18 centimeters or 7.1 inches across. And if we go to image number 2, that's Ninja Bear's paw print right there.
So there's is this a box of cigarettes or
something like that to show for scale.
Okay, well, that's a big paw.
It's a big bear.
So what's the Japanese word for bear?
That's a really great question that I can't.
Also.
I don't. Kuma.
Or kuma.
Yeah.
What's the oso?
The oso.
Because oso is bear in like Spanish.
I don't know what the oso is.
All right, don't worry about it.
But it has to do with its paw print.
It's not a Spanish researcher, is it?
What?
He's like, nobody speaks Spanish around here. Look for the bear.
That would be funny. The Ninja Bear is not only really good at not being detected, but also kills a lot of the cows very late at night, which has helped get him it's under the cover of darkness.
So he's found out, like, he's got a scheme here.
He does.
It is get these cows when nobody's looking.
Right.
And they can't get away.
Right.
They're cows.
Exactly.
Okay.
Based on DNA samples from fur and droppings, paw prints, and method of attack.
Be a bear forensic scientist.
They have been working on this for the past 4 years. The Ninja Bear is suspected to be the assailant of about 66 attacks on dairy cows at farms in Shibecha and neighboring town of Akechi from July 2019 to June of 2023. This resulted in 32 animal deaths. So
wow.
if we go to image number 3 now.
So he's got like a 50% success rate.
Yeah, that is like the best photo we have of Ninja Bear.
Last known photo.
Yeah. So, but it is interesting. So 66 attacks, but 32 animal deaths. So he's attacked more, like almost 50% of those that he's attacked didn't die, but they were injured, obviously.
Well, you miss 100% of the cows that you don't attack.
That's right. The Ninja Bear is larger than most bears in Japan. It is estimated that the Ninja Bear weighs around 300 kilograms or 661 pounds. That is a very large bear.
It's not small.
Yeah. The number of bear attacks in a small area of Hokkaido is extremely high, according to Masami Yamanaka, director of Hokkaido's Shiratoko Brown Bear Association. Yeah.
What?
In an average year, the rest of Hokkaido sees only about a dozen bear attacks, he says. And if we go to image 4 now, this is to show you like the bear attacks in Hokkaido. And this might actually just all be Ninja Bear, like attacks that he's done over the past 4 years.
You know, the courts will pin it all on him.
Yeah, of course.
That's an amazing range.
Yeah.
For a bear.
Yeah.
Because we don't unfortunately have like a mile, scale here, but
That's
you
true.
can just tell from the the shape of the blocks and like this is an entire city.
Yes.
Here's some more. And so he's going all up in here.
He's going all over
He's
the
been
place.
over here. That's wow. Yeah. Does he have a Segway or something?
Yeah, I know. Ninja bear will travel. I don't know. So the ninja bear is unusual in the way that it eats these cows. Yamanaka says that I know. Yamanaka says that ordinarily a bear that makes a kill bigger than it can eat in one sitting, which you can't eat a cow in one sitting.
Right.
The bear will stay in the area until it gets hungry again.
Okay.
However, the ninja bear frequently eats just part of its kill, then goes back into the forest. It will reappear, still undetected, somewhere else in the two-town area for its next kill. So it'll kill a cow, eat until its heart content,
Right.
and then leave and forget it ever killed that cow. So if we go to image 5 now, this is another brown bear. I just want folks to kind of get an idea of who we're talking about.
Our culprit.
No, this is not our culprit. So
don't profile bears.
That's right. It is also suspected that the ninja bear is skilled at walking into rivers so as not to leave tracks.
Huh.
Ninja bear is really freaking clever.
Ninja bear vanish.
Yeah. In an attack that happened in July 2022, the ninja bear actually dug a hole in the dirt so it could go underneath the electrified fence.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's pretty dang smart.
Like bears aren't, the dumbest creatures, but they're not really known for a lot of intelligence, right? They're kind of brute force tools,
Yes.
They'll just
Exactly.
bust into a cooler or something like that.
Yeah.
Or forget that they ate a cow. Oh man, did I get high and eat that cow?
I thought I had a cow. Maybe I just dreamed
But
that.
that's like he got shocked.
Yeah,
before,
probably.
And now he's like, what if we went under this thing? That's interesting.
I can't go over it, but I can go under it.
Not going over.
The ninja bear's inconsistent activity has exasperated hunters and animal control efforts, and at least one dairy farm has put out one of Japan's robot monster wolves as a precaution. So if we could go to image number 6 now.
Oh my God.
This is what we're talking about.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Why red eyes?
Well, that's part of it.
But a bear's not like, wait a minute, that wolf doesn't have red eyes. I'm fine.
It's
my
just
God, it's got red eyes.
scare him, It's made by Hokkaido Machine Parts Manufacturing Company, Ota Seiki, and the monster wolf is a robotic wildlife deterrent. So you can get this for other
Like
wildlife.
RWD,
Yeah. But the monster wolf utilizes infrared sensors that notice when an animal comes close. And once the sensor is triggered, the head moves back and forth.
I'm triggered.
I know. And the LED eyes light up bright red. Yep. And at the same time, the speakers play a loud noise to deter animals from getting close. So if we go to
Get out of here, bear.
image 7 now, it's
Get out of here.
That's
Oh my
another
God.
picture of it.
Wild wolf, you could do anything.
I don't know. They just wanted to scare.
It could just be a person.
It could be.
Because presumably, I mean, if I see that, I'm going the other way. It doesn't matter. But I'm not a bear. And presumably a bear would, we've talked about whether they're smart or not.
Right.
A bear would, because of its other senses, know if it was, say, just a scarecrow or a regular person, right?
You would think.
So, but he sees is the red eyes and the cherries on the bottom there. Is that like the extra push to just like, I don't know if this wolf is real, but I can't go back to jail. So he runs off.
I guess so. Yes.
Wow.
Well, and not only that, the noises that the wolf monster makes, they have a whole like a bunch of different ones just in case like. Well, I don't know. Maybe this bear heard the same noise and now it knows what it is, so it's not scared anymore. Now we're going to do a slightly different noise.
Okay.
So,
what kind of music do bears hate?
that's a really good question. What is that like?
Something that chafes.
Yeah. I don't know. Wasn't there like
The Jungle Book? Because they're like, you're just making fun of me at this point.
yeah,
You're just
right.
making fun of me.
Wasn't there like was it Brother Bear or something like that? There's some
A Disney movie?
Yeah, Disney movie.
Oh, that's the worst. Why did they make a bad movie about us?
Yeah, right.
Terrible. I'm out of here. You live, cows.
Yes, but unfortunately, all good things have to come to an end.
No.
And it has been confirmed that Ninja Bear was killed last month.
Oh, no.
And not only that, he's been eaten.
What?
Yes. So
By cows?
No, by people.
Okay.
In spite of numerous traps and hunting sessions, the Ninja Bear evaded capture and almost entirely evaded identification for years. It's unclear what was learned behavior and what was just the Ninja Bear's instincts. We don't know how the Ninja Bear works.
Where did he get his training?
Yeah.
So
Tell me who's your master.
So was it with him being eaten? Was that revenge, or was that just we're not letting this go to waste?
I think it's just what they do.
Little bear sashimi.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. But it seemed to know how to avoid traps and was seen via security camera about once a year. And it, of course, it attacked at night.
I mean, that was on purpose.
Yeah, right.
It came up into the cameras like,
I see you. Yes. Not only was it beneficial for the Ninja Bear to strike at night when it was dark, there was also an ordinances that banned the utilization of hunting rifles after sundown.
oh.
So that's also a big reason
So
why.
you're defenseless against the bear.
Yes.
Okay.
The DNA record about the Ninja Bear made it possible for authorities to confirm that a brown bear who was killed in Kushiro by a hunter on July 28th, 2023, was in fact the Ninja Bear. The Ninja Bear was 2.1 meters or 6.9 feet and 330 kilograms or 728 pounds. So it's larger. It was larger than they estimated.
Yeah. Wow.
The DNA examination verification wasn't concluded and announced until August 22nd. So people didn't know until August 22nd. And
That way you gotta wait for copycats.
Yeah, right.
Make sure you got the real
We
one.
got to let everybody know
Yeah.
this is the real deal. This led to a retroactive surprise to patrons who'd recently eaten at Amakara Kumakar, a fancy restaurant in Tokyo's Ningyo-cho neighborhood that specializes in wild game.
What?
So they knew they were eating bear. They didn't know they were eating Ninja Bear. That's the surprise.
Now there's a rash of unexplained attacks on
Yeah.
cows.
Sneaking around at night stealthily.
The legend continues.
Yes. Upon the disclosure of the Ninja Bear DNA results, Amakara Kumakara confirmed that the bear meat that they had served yakiniku style on the week of August 14th was in fact Ninja Bear meat. And Amakara Kumakara also said that all of the cuts of Ninja Bear that were usable as yakiniku have already been sold and eaten.
Yeah, don't come at us for bear meat.
Right. However, it planned to offer the remaining Ninja Bear meat as kamui ohau, traditional Hokkaido bear meat hot pot stew, starting in September. So,
What do you think bear tastes like? It's gonna be tough.
it's got to be pretty gamey, right?
Well, and plus they eat everything.
Yes.
I mean, I guess if they're just eating cows, but even then, like you don't like you want to eat an herbivore, eat a predator. All they do is eat meat all day.
Yeah.
It's like a person. You don't want to eat a person.
right.
It's gross.
I think it's just
For
like
a lot of reasons,
yeah. Well, of course,
not just culinary ones.
right. I think it's just like if a bear gets hunted or killed or whatever, then you sell the meat to be eaten.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like if you found a bear dead in the wilderness, you wouldn't be like, oh, now let's sell its meat, because you don't know how long that bear's been dead. You don't know what happened to it. That sort of thing.
Yeah, carrion.
Yeah, right. But I think that they just don't discriminate about that, and they're like also like, we've got so many bears up here,
It
and
used
one
to be
less.
alive.
Yeah. Now it's
Put
in
it
my mouth.
Well, kudos to the bear CSI team.
Yes.
That bear went over the mountain
Yes.
and he saw. Yeah.
He totally did. I do have some additional facts about brown bears. There was So there was the Sankanbetsu brown bear incident, which occurred in December 1915 in Sankei.
We've talked about this before.
In the Sankanbetsu district, and it was the worst bear attack in Japanese history.
This bear just went nuts.
Yeah, and it resulted in the deaths of 7 people and the injuring of 3 others.
It's 100 years ago. I mean, we can laugh about it now, but
it's still brought up. You know, the perpetrator was 380 kilograms, 840 pounds, and 2.7 meters tall brown bear, which twice attacked. Twice.
When can you make a movie about this?
That's a great question. I
think
it's time now.
You ever seen Ravenous?
No.
Guy Pearce and the guy from Trainspotting who was on Once Upon a Time for a long time.
Okay.
Carlisle. Robert Carlyle. And they're like in the woods. It's like a Wendigo tale. I won't get into it, but it's about like eating meat and like they're trapped. It's a survival tale. So what if you had like these people? I guess it's just a bear kills a bunch of people. It's just Cocaine Bear, I guess.
It's Cocaine Bear.
Sake
you're right.
Bear, the prequel.
Yes,
but,
right.
You know, when do you say, oh no, it was a bear oni or something like that, and then you put a little spin on it?
Do a bear ghost
If they can make a Suicide
monster.
Forest movie now, we can make a demon bear movie now.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But it twice attacked the village of Tomamae, returning to the area the night after its first attack during the pre-funeral vigil for the earlier victims.
Okay.
So that's pretty great. The incident is frequently referred to in modern Japanese bear incidents. They're like, oh, and this happened over 100 years ago. But it's huge. You know, it's like the worst bear incident in Japan.
And a great screenplay.
Yes. And is believed to be responsible for the Japanese perception of bears as quote-unquote man-eaters.
You really want your screenplay on the brown list, not the black list.
Is that actually a thing? A brown list? Okay.
No, that's a bear joke. What is the best kind of list? A brown list.
I did think of Dwight Schrute and Jim while I was doing this. What's the best bear? False.
Yes.
Yeah, so what?
Well, thanks for that.
You're welcome. I thought we all could use some stealthy ninja bear action.
Yeah. Gotta think differently about bears.
Yeah.
And how delicious they are.
I know.
After that. Well, thanks for that. We've been talking about the Dead Moon Circus recently on Sailor Noob while we cover Sailor Moon Supers. But tonight I want to talk about a different kind of circus. There's many influential names in the annals of anime history like Tezuka, Miyazaki, Otomo, Watanabe, but most names that you'd probably know from anime, the names above the title, are creators and directors. And it's not often that an anime artist or animator or animation director becomes a household name. Few animators have risen from obscurity to dazzle anime fans and influence and inspire young animators like Ichiro Itano. Itano was born in 1959 in Yokohama, Kanagawa Prefecture, and from a young age he loved sci-fi and manga. One of his favorite characters was Kaikader, I believe it's pronounced.
Okay.
It's an android character created by Shotaro Ishinomori, who also created Cyborg 009 and Kamen Rider. So it's like a lesser-known character by that guy. And when Itano was a kid, he strapped 50 toy rockets to his dirt bike to emulate the rocket-powered motorcycle that Kaikader drives. And we're talking about him now, so he somehow survived that.
Oh my God.
His senior year in high school, he got a job as an in-betweener animator for a company called Studio Musashi. He saw a recruitment ad, and apparently he had been temporarily suspended from high school, so he had some free time.
Oh my gosh.
And at Musashi, he immediately got to work on series like Space Battleship Yamato and Galaxy Express 999. Matsumoto Jams.
Yeah.
One of his first major jobs was as a key animator for 1979's Mobile Suit Gundam. And his main focus was mechanical design and mecha design. So he's doing all the robots and the ships. Kind of that's the bread and butter of Gundam, right?
Absolutely.
He also worked on Densetsu Kyojin Ideon, or Space Runaway Ideon, which was a 1980 mecha series produced by Sunrise Studios. And those were breakout roles for him. That got him a lot more work in the industry. He also worked on Akira Toriyama's Dr. Slump. And he was a key animator for the Daikon 3 and 4 studios for Studio Gainax, videos for Studio Gainax.
Oh, we think we watched those ones recently.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He did the mechanical designs and the airship combat.
Oh, that's really cool.
In 1982, he began working for Shoji Kawamori on Super Dimension Fortress Macross, where he served as a key animator and mechanical animation director, and he helped design the show's OP. And he continued to work on the Macross series through the 80s, including the theatrical film in 1984, as well as shows like Urusei Yatsura, Fist of the North Star, Pat Labor, Battle Royal High School.
Wow.
These are all things we've heard of.
Yes.
As well as the Gainax film, The Wings of Anamisi.
Okay.
He also
heard of that, of course.
He served as animation director for the very influential Megazone 23 OVAs. Whenever they interview somebody who runs a giant robot show, they always cite like Megazone 23 as being very influential on them. And in the late 80s, he continued to work on series like Slam Dunk, Tekkaman Blade, and Crusher Joe. But as the bubble was breaking in Japan, the Buburugeki, anime production slowed down with the rest of Japan, and he found himself without regular work. He actually had to get a job as a truck driver to make ends meet.
Oh, interesting.
However, as the economy began to recover, his former co-worker and Macross boss, Shoji Kawamori, called him to work on the Macross Plus movie, which came out in 94 or 95, which led to more work on series like Space Pirate Mito, Arjuna, Gantz, and the Spriggan and Cowboy Bebop movies.
Oh, wow.
And he's still working to this day. He's working with his friend and colleague Hideaki Anno on the End of Evangelion and Eva reboot films. He's advising on new Gundam films and on the, and I don't know how to say this, but SSSS Gridman series?
I have no idea.
Or maybe it's Gridman series.
I like the idea that it's Gridman series.
Maybe they sprung a leak a little bit.
Maybe.
So there are a lot of legendary animators in the industry. Why is this guy so special? Well, he's a legend for a lot of reasons. The early mecha series that he worked on, like Ideon and Gundam and Macross, would go on to inspire every giant robot series on the air today. And many of the design ideas that started in those series, like the transforming robots, space battles, the dynamic posing, and the specific design ideas, he was instrumental in bringing about. And he's known for a couple of specific touches that have been replicated throughout the industry. Number one, applying lens effects to animation in the anime industry. Enhancing the sense of motion and depth. So animation, is flat, obviously, and you have to do a lot of different things to make it seem like things are really happening. You know? And his animation is known for the energy of its action, and one aspect of that is the way in which objects kind of like come and go in and out of the camera. So a jet or a robot might be very far away, but as the battle goes on, it like flies close to the camera. And gets bigger, and then he adds like a distortion to the object, like it's being captured by a camera lens, a fisheye lens. He calls this angle animation. And it went a long way to communicating like the reality and the sense of depth of the objects in the frame, as if they were being captured by an actual camera, in the scene.
That's so cool.
Related to this is his idea of variable view, which follows an object from a subjective point of view. So it's been compared to skydiving photography. The idea that, if you are skydiving and you are taking a picture of somebody else skydiving, you're not going to necessarily have them in frame. They'll be very small and far away, and the camera kind of finds them, and then you can zoom in on them. And it's not always the center of the composition or locked into the shot. And you see this a lot now in good CGI scenes in live action movies and TV. It's a signature of the space series or of the space scenes in Battlestar Galactica, the reboot.
Oh, nice.
A lot of times you'll see, the ship, and you'll see a Viper going, and then the camera kind of like zooms in, and then it's sort of like a little bit of shaky as we follow that Viper or that ship away. There's a lot of anime influence in Battlestar Galactica, the reboot.
That's really interesting. I
wonder
really
if Ronald D. Moore knows that. Do you think?
That he must.
Is he an anime fan?
He must be.
Well, his CGI guys are.
Yeah.
He also has signature explosions. He'll often depict the impact of a projectile and the explosion or the detonation separately. And add secondary explosions to the attack. So a lot of times you'll see a missile hit a ship. And there's an explosion, and then you'll see like other little explosions happen, on it. That's his. And he's also known for sometimes very stark and graphic explicit shots, like heads being blown off,
Oh my
or
God.
being crushed or something, blood splattering. A lot of the graphic work that he put into shows like Gundam and Macross didn't actually make it across the pond.
It was too much?
Because of censors, yeah.
Okay.
So we didn't see that in like American versions of Gundam and things like
That's
that.
interesting. That's really cool that he's came up with a lot of these techniques that were maybe already being used with like a video camera or would then be adapted to be used with a video camera, but he's using it with animation.
Yeah.
That's like big brain thinking, you
And
know?
it fits well with the fights, and because it feels like war photography, or it feels like you're
Sure.
capturing something.
Yeah.
When you watch Modern Family, you don't even question the fact that there is a documentary crew with
Right.
this family, and then they talk to the camera, but they never
Right.
talk about when's this documentary coming out. Like it never happens. In fact, in the last season of The Office, they made it a
Yes.
little more explicit that this is a documentary, because they ran out of ideas. But
They did.
and so when you watch an anime and it's like, Tenchi, what are you doing? Oh, I just shot reverse shot.
Right.
You don't think about where the camera is. But in these battle scenes, you're thinking, I'm kind of the camera somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
They're making a documentary of this Gundam war. I don't know.
Side question. Did you hear that they're going to relaunch The Office? They're going to redo it?
I don't want to. I don't care. If it's an anime, I'm in.
Okay, fair.
There's one technique, though,
Yeah.
that defines Itano's work more than anything else, and that is the Itano Circus,
Yes.
a.k.a. the Macross Missile Massacre,
Oh my gosh.
a.k.a. shooting 1,000,000 missiles at your opponent. So let's go back quickly to Android Kikaider and that stunt that he pulled on his bike when he was a kid.
Yes.
In trying to emulate his favorite tokusatsu show, he realized that the chase itself, that is, riding around on your bike with your friends while Roman candles are exploding everywhere,
Yeah.
was more exciting than the actual impact or the attack on the target.
Okay.
So Itano's use of the circus is defined by multiple missiles or projectiles being fired at a target.
Okay.
And they all have smoke trails that crisscross over the screen.
Sure.
And that's called NATO missiles for some reason.
I think I might have a slight guess as to why. I could be very wrong.
Is
but
it because the beans like stretch and
They're
they leave the
stringy.
stuff, the strings
they're
behind?
stringy? Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
I guess so too.
And
That's
so,
gross.
and the target of the missiles is dodging wildly to avoid the missiles. And he's thought about this. Apparently, there are different characters of missiles.
Okay.
They're divided into honor student type,
What?
which is a missile that flies in a straight line to the target.
Okay.
The bright type, which predicts the target's mobility and tries to get ahead of it, right?
Okay.
The inferior grade type, which just flies in a zigzag
Sure.
pattern to be conspicuous. And that's it. And so
Okay.
it's not just the sheer volume of the missiles that's important. That's cool. But according to Itano, he says the orbit is the most important part of the circus,
Wow.
meaning that the scene itself is inherently dynamic when you combine all the missiles, the smoke trails, the moving target, and all the techniques that I mentioned before.
That's
Camera
really
techniques.
interesting.
If you got a stationary target and you got a robot and he shoots the missiles, boom, it's boring, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
seeing the target move in and out, seeing the background, the other combatants and elements whiz by, seeing the perspective change and flip, this adds up to an exciting scene.
Yeah, that's very true.
And it's got to be murder on the animators because it's easy to go, Tenchi, I'm mad. What are you talking about? Suddenly you got to do all this stuff. You must have a whole team working on each sequence. Each one is like a little set piece in itself.
Yeah.
Gundam has lived for decades off of this. And don't get me wrong, I mean,
Yeah.
I like Gundam, but Gundam loves doing this stuff.
Oh, for sure.
So I've actually got some examples of
Oh.
the Itano Circus in play.
Okay,
and
cool.
I've got them arranged to show what I see as the evolution of the technique through the years.
Okay. Very cool.
Both under Itano's hand and the animators that he inspired.
Okay.
Itano himself was a devotee of Yoshinori Kanada,
Okay.
and Kanada worked on productions like Galaxy Express and Nausicaa, and Itano feels like his work, Itano's work, is using the best parts of technique that he learned from Kanada.
Okay. Very
And
cool.
Itano's work was coming out on VCR and home video, just as those technologies were becoming mainstream. So many
Sure.
young aspiring animators would pause and like frame by frame his scenes to try to absorb some of his technique.
Yeah.
So here's what we got for some of our circus scenes here. This is a very early scene.
Okay.
Like I said, Space Runaway was one of the first things that he worked on. And yeah, here we go.
Okay, let's watch it.
Did I break it? No, it's fine. So you'll see.
Yeah. Wow.
Hold on.
Okay.
I broke this by hitting the wrong button.
You broke it?
Okay, so anyway. You see that the missiles just kind of come out.
Yes.
And that's fine. They're kind of going straight at him.
Yes. Wow.
And you get that explosion. And you get like the extra little explosion bits coming out there. So that was very early. Later on, he worked on Macross. And again, it's kind of like, how many missiles can we fit into this thing? Shoot all the missiles. Shoot every missile right now. They're wiggling back and forth. And
oh my gosh, that was a huge explosion.
Like yeah. Now, that was the TV series. This is Super Dimension Fortress Macross Do You Remember Love, the movie, in which he was the animation director.
Okay. And
so now we're really turning it up. And you'll see what I mean by it. So the missiles go off and fly, but you've got your subject here is flying up and around. There's clouds, there's cities in the background.
Sure.
You know, you're seeing like there's little explosions.
There's
and everything.
so many explosions happening all over.
Now they start. Okay, send them all.
Whoa.
Send all the missiles. Every missile. Every single missile we've got.
Oh my gosh, we got to get this person.
Who won?
Yeah, I think the missiles won. That's what I think.
We all win.
Yeah.
So Macross Plus, if you don't know, was a movie in 1994, which is sort of like a side story, but it's kind of a revival of Macross. And he was the action choreographer.
My God.
So I know he worked on it.
What a title.
I'm sure he probably did like keyframe stuff or maybe, helped advise on the battles. But you start to see the evolution just in 10 years of what it is now. Now we're also studying the missiles themselves. This is on like a computer program. He's sensing where they're coming from. Now he's just going to fly through all the missiles. You got to put the missiles on a computer screen there.
Oh my gosh.
He's just zipping through them all.
Whoa. Why do I feel like I'm going through the cables of the internet like they like to do in the 80s?
Right. Are these cyber missiles?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Ah. Wow. What?
Yeah, this is...
I mean, it's missile storytelling is what it is.
It's anime Top Gun, really.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. And so you get like the midair transformation, and then you see like the jet starts big in the front, but then it launches the missiles and it sort of pulls away, and then we're following the missiles. So,
that's really cool.
Yeah, Macross Plus is a really good movie. Of course, End of Evangelion.
Yes.
So this is actually key animation by Yasushi Muraki, who we'll talk about in a little bit. He's one of the kind of disciples of this guy.
Okay.
Here's an example of the circus in Evangelion. And then we cut right to the live-action Cutie Honey film. This is live action.
Wow, what?
Directed by Hideaki Anno, who is another disciple. We'll talk about that in a little bit too. But this is an example of it being used.
There's a live-action Cutie Honey movie?
Yeah, get over that and just and see the live-action Itano Circus. Cowboy Bebop, of course, used it as well. Masami Goto is another guy who uses this a lot. This is from an episode, the third or fourth episode, Honky Tonk Women.
Oh, yeah, sure. It's just so cool looking.
And then we get an upgrade when we go to Cowboy Bebop, the movie.
Yeah.
Which features, here's their idea. We've got missiles with multiple warheads. So each missile is itself an Itano Circus.
Oh, my gosh.
There's no sound on these clips. So
no, but
we gotta talk our way through.
No sound. We're just
Itano
in awe.
did work on this specifically as a key animator.
Yeah,
and I'm assuming mechanical designer as well. Our next clip is Eureka 7. Now let me set this up.
Okay.
So Yasushi Muraki is billed as a special skill director. I have no idea what that means.
What does that mean?
But I know that
I have special skills.
He was very influential. I think he was basically like the art director, although, like I said, I didn't see him billed as that.
Okay.
Eureka 7, I've never heard of it, but it's about surfing robots. So as far there might be surfing in the show itself, but for some reason there are transforming robots that surf.
Okay.
And so you are seeing everything that I mentioned before. You've got fast missiles, slow missiles. They're shooting them.
Yes.
The character starting off very close to the camera, then it's going far away, getting small.
Yeah.
It's looping in the air. The entire field is sort of turning around. And as far as I can tell, this is a series, and then there was a movie or two, and then they rebooted it with a movie. As far as I can tell, this is all that happens in the show.
It's just a bunch of this?
And then it's just this for half an hour? I don't know. There is so much of this.
Wow.
I got a lot of these scenes from a YouTube compilation video called It's the Circus. So if you want to watch the whole thing, just go to YouTube, search for It's the Circus. But
It's the Circus.
most of it was Eureka 7 footage. It just goes on and on and on. All that. Now, lasers is another great example too.
Okay.
Lasers can also be Itano Circus attacks. So these two kids just fly this plane that turns into a robot and then starts surfing, brah.
That's so strange. You would think that a robot wouldn't like the water because it would rust. You must have like rust resistance or
they're
something.
They're air surfing.
Oh,
they're not. They're surfing. They're on his little surfboard. Look.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was thinking way too literally.
You can see it, okay, right?
Yeah, I can. I am a little nearsighted though, so I'm gonna.
Now they're fighting octopuses.
Okay, I see the board.
Who's winning? Who's losing?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
This is new stuff. This is just everything that we're seeing here. Okay.
And so when you do this, I mean, I don't know exactly how cell animation works, but you can't just have like a background like Scooby-Doo and then you've got, the characters in front.
No.
Everything has to move. The mountains, the sky, the clouds, the buildings below.
Wow.
They're cheating now because it's just all black.
Yeah, all black.
So it's just really, really intensive. Here are some examples of some live action use of the Itano Circus in tokusatsu shows.
Okay.
This is an Ultraman clip, obviously.
Okay,
I don't know which Ultraman, but there's two of them.
Wow. And they're hitting the circus with swords, it looks like.
Yeah, the creatures fighting, shooting lasers, and they're fighting against it.
Oh, here's a circus.
Now this is all CG as well. Like these techniques have propagated into CG animation.
Okay,
now,
sure.
and not just hand drawn stuff.
Right.
But it's interesting. Those same principles still apply.
It's interesting because I feel like it's one of those things like I've seen so many times in so many different anime, and I don't really think too much about it. But it obviously would be a lot of work to animate that. Mm-hmm. So it's impressive.
Well, according to Itano, only 3 other animators have fully mastered the Itano Circus in their own work. And those
Itano has the crown, and who else?
Those 3 are Hideaki Anno,
okay,
Masami Goto, and Yasushi Muraki.
Okay,
all of which we saw in the montage.
I was going to say people we have heard of, been discussing already in this. Oh my gosh.
Anno has cited Itano as his first master in animation.
Oh, okay, so that's cool.
When you see that picture of Miyazaki with the cigarette going like this,
yes,
sad, it's because Anno said that.
You look sad.
Why would you say? I mean, okay, I guess that's true. You know? He's working with a master, but he's like, but there is another master.
Yes.
And it is Itano in his circus.
Okay. Poor Miyazaki.
Yeah. So Muraki, the other guy that we mentioned before, the Eureka 7 guy, has taken this to another level.
Okay.
Because he said that he accepts that, thank you, I do like your work,
right,
but I want to do more with your work. I don't just want to copy you.
Right.
So he has used the techniques of Itano and the techniques of his other guy he considers his mentor, a guy named Masami Obari, who, different show, another legend, different show, to combine those to create the Meraki Circus. It's like, okay, well, you name it after yourself, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you think Itano named it the Itano Circus? You can't give yourself a nickname.
I think
somebody has to give you a nickname.
I don't know.
You're all going to call me Ace now. Sure.
He might have. He might have been like, "This is Itano Circus."
He might have. What he hasn't. We'll talk about his personality in a little bit. He hasn't animated anything in a while, since Macross Plus, actually. But he did act as an advisor on all these other projects.
Sure.
Including Cowboy Bebop and whatnot. But he has influenced also many of the CG animators too, who produce similar action scenes in anime as well as in modern tokusatsu shows. And he basically, in 2011, he quit.
Oh.
He said, all the people I need to grow have already graduated, so I'm going to do what I like.
I mean, he does good on you. Yeah.
People who do what they want get suspended from high school in their senior year. What does he like to do? He's an avid motorcyclist.
Okay.
Probably due to his childhood hero, Decatur.
Say.
And he was apparently was influenced to retire after personally getting a wrist injury falling off his bike.
Okay. Well,
He would often ride his bike in between cars and trucks, saying that he was working on improving his dynamic vision for animation. Ow! And during the production of Megazone 23, he attached cameras to his bike for location scouting and reference photography in the Tokyo area. That's like an urban set series.
He was ahead of his time. What are the cameras called that like you put on your bike or your hat
GoPros.
or whatever? Yeah, they're like GoPros.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know how big these cameras were.
Yeah. Oh, good point.
And he's got a black Honda with a skull and crossbones, just like Macross character Roy Fokker.
Wow.
And speaking of Macross, the Itano Circus and the general look and style of the Macross series was said to have influenced the making of Top Gun in the mid-'80s. Is Tony Scott an anime fan? I don't know.
Good question.
But in the mid-'90s, when he was working on Macross Plus, he went to the U.S. with Kawamori, the director, to participate in a mock air battle with training jets.
Oh my gosh.
During the battle,
oh no,
he wanted to know what the extreme stress of G-forces felt like, and without telling the instructor, he jerked up on the control stick to go into a climb and ended up passing out.
Oh my gosh!
So he's kind of a loose cannon. Or a loose missile.
I was going to, yes.
Not an honor student type.
Well, no,
he's zigzagging all around.
He's zigzagging. Yeah, you're right. That's him 100%.
Apparently at the wrap party for a movie that he was directing, a producer came up and hit him in the face and said, "Do you know how many animators quit because of you?"
Oh my God. It's clear that the little kid who had put rockets all over his bike didn't mature a whole lot as far as like, you know, stunts that they're going to pull, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think he knew what he wanted to do and he kept doing it. And he he amazingly created all of modern mecha anime as we know it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
All hail the ringmaster.
Yes.
Master Itano-san.
Yes.
Well, I think that's it for our show this week. Thanks for coming along with us, and thanks to our patrons for your support, and we couldn't do the show without you. Thank you very much. I wanted to remind everybody, a patron or no, that we have lots more Sailor Noob content available on our Patreon at patreon.com/Sailor Noob. If you want to support the show by becoming a patron, you can go to our Patreon. And if you want to support us without becoming a patron, you can give us a tip at Ko-Fi, Ko-Fi/just enough trope. We've got a Discord to join, which is free, no tip required. You can find it in the About page here on Twitch. And don't forget to subscribe to us here on Twitch before you go. Also, we stream video games and other videos all the time here. So if you hit the heart icon and the bell icon to get notified when we're live and broadcasting, check us out. I think that is it for Shore Leave this week. I hope you've been completely slaked for this month.
Oh my God.
And we'll be back next episode, next month, I guess, technically, with a new episode of Sailor Noob. Mika, what's that episode going to be?
Yeah, we'll be talking about episode number 153, Kyofu no Haisha-san. Well, that should be a question. Kyofu no Haisha-san.
Goes up at the end.
Yeah. Para para no yokata in Japanese. Dentist of horrors? Horrors, not Horrors, Pala Pala's House, the English translation, and the English title, Dental Dilemma.
I've been shocked and dismayed so often that I just feel it coming and I don't feel any different.
Yeah,
so,
pretty much.
Bring it on. Bring it on, Sailor Moon Supers. I can do it now.
Phantom Casual in the chat did ask if you got spoiled for this part. I think she's for Gramps.
For Gramps?
I think so.
Cosmos Gramps?
Yes.
I wouldn't expect Cosmos to do a lot much with Gramps, but I'm not too worried about it. But who knows? Maybe I'll watch Cosmos in the future and be like, no, Gramps. Hey, we got a new episode of Sailor Cinema on the Patreon where we talk about the movie Tampopo, one of the best movies
really
of all time. 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It is nominally about the starting of a ramen shop.
Yes.
On a broader scale, it's about all of Western cinema through the lens of a Japanese cinema fan. If you're a Princess level patron, or if you're interested in becoming a Princess patron and hearing us talk about Shin Kamen Rider, Tampopo, the entire Shin series, and more Japanese films of great Japanese films of Japanese cinema, check that out at patreon.com/Sailor Noob. And I wanted to say we do have merch available at justenoughtrope.threadless.com. I believe that's right. If you go to Threadless, search for Just Enough Trope, you'll find us. That's it for us for this shore leave. We will see you next week when we make up for another episode of Sailor Moon.